Okay, so this course that we are talking about is the different styles that we normally adopt when we are handling any conflict or difference of opinion or disagreement or any situation which requires little more intense working and deliberation. So the accommodating style that we have seen, which a lot of us have. Somebody's device audio is on. If you can please mute your device.
Dr. Raman said, ma'am, this
Dr. Raman, can you please mute your device?
Ma'am, let me just complete, ma'am. Ma'am, this video is not available on YouTube. So they are showing it's a private one. So आपका security तो बंद नहीं.
Okay. So the first style is teddy bear style. So as the name suggests, this style is very accommodating. It's soft. So naturally, these people would be more adjusting and cooperating to a very, very high degree. And at the same time, to maintain relationships, people who adopt accommodating style, they will give in a lot to maintain the relationship. So the pros of this kind of a style is that you will minimize injury because you are trying to accommodate everybody, you are trying to maintain relationship. So you will make sure that you don't harm anybody or hurt anybody in that process. As a result, definitely relationships are maintained. People are happy with you, that okay, you really respect them, love them, care for them, and look after them. But the flip side is the chances are it will also breed resentment, because when you're accommodating and cooperating beyond a point, then probably sometimes the goals, objectives, targets, the purpose sometimes gets, it takes a second seat in that process. And also there's a risk of you being exploited, because person who is adjusting and cooperating is sometimes taken as for granted. Okay, you are going to definitely take it and accept it and cooperate and give your best. The other style is avoiding style, which is named as tortoise style. So as the name itself suggests, the person who will take this approach will most likely avoid confrontation. So their approach will be non-confrontational. Yes, it's good sometimes because people are happy with you because you will not confront them. As a result, there will not be any conflict between you and your team, because you don't believe in raising your voice or sharing your thoughts. And especially when it's a difference of opinion, you will not ever come out with your clear opinion and honest opinion. As a result, there are either no challenges, no difficulties, no issues, at least on the surface. So people believe that everything is, good and fine. And relationships also will look very, pretty normal, pretty good, nice. But the flip side is, in such a style, if you are using it almost all the time or as the way of dealing with conflicts, it will also breed resentment, because how long can you really postpone the conflicts or not deal with them or just brush them under the carpet? As a result, others will be very unhappy. That, as a team leader or as a team member, if you don't address issues, how will we move further? How will we resolve things and how will we address issues? So as a result, there'll be a lot of unaddressed problems, but they'll be just there under the carpet, and apparently everything will appear very nice and goody to look at. Yes, even a lot of issues and problems would remain unresolved in such a style of handling situations. The third style is competitive style, which is also called shark style. In this, the person would take more of an authoritative and competitive approach, like the nature of shark. The benefits are that these people are goal-oriented and they are likely to, focus on the outcome. As a result, they will look for quick and shortcuts, because that gives them a feeling that This is how I can get the work done, and that's the good way of doing it. The flip side is this will also breed resentment, because ultimately people with whom you are competing, they are able to see your approach, they are able to sense your way of handling things. So definitely they will not be very happy with the way you are handling issues and situations. This will also breed hostility, especially with people who are targeted or who are at a disadvantageous position because of your this style. Also there will be, unresolved issues and problems. People may not be able to voice their opinion in your presence, but then they will find it difficult to let go. So again there will be unresolved issues and problems. Another style that's called compromising style or the fox style. This is a style which is more like looking for a middle ground, where both are kind of able to come to a point where everybody agrees. The benefits are that it's useful approach, especially in complex issues with no simple solutions. So there's no direct yes and there is no direct no. So you create a situation which is kind of okay, let's work out the solution, and I think you can do this and I can do this, or maybe we find an arrangement that works for both of us. So especially when the parties are equal in power, there it'll be easy. For example, now you all are colleagues, so probably if I look at the designation, all of you may be at the same designation. So there's no kind of you know uh, per se junior and senior kind of a thing. So there you'll have to really find a way that works for everybody and everybody goes back happy, once you find a solution to the problem. Again, the con is that no one will be ever happy or fully satisfied, because everybody will have to give in something, everybody will have to sacrifice something. So you will find people who are not happy even with this kind of an approach. uh, the last style is collaborative style. In collaborative style, or it's called owl style, it's believed that the problems are solved in a collaborative way to minimize the negative feeling. So it's more like, you take everybody in, you take everybody's opinion, collectively you kind of, brainstorm on the issue, and then you decide, okay, this is how we are going to work. So it's more like participatory and collaborative approach, which is considered to be one of the best ways, especially when you are dealing with adults, educated professionals, and same power people. So this is considered as more democratic style of handling issues. The benefits are that yes, it creates mutual trust, because if you are able to win trust of your team and your team leaders, that you mean business and you are serious and you are responsible, and whatever options you will come out will be in the interest of everyone. So definitely you will be able to create more trust in the team. Of course, relationships will also be maintained because there is trust and respect for each other. It will also bring commitment from everyone, because now everybody has participated in choosing the solution. So nobody will feel that, okay, this has been thrusted on me. So for example, if there are on-call duties, and you're all allowed to choose which weekend you are comfortable doing, and you're also given the option that in case if one weekend is not suiting you, you can in between talk to your team members and exchange your on call duty, and then you can. So it's more like working together and finding a, rather than one person deciding on everybody's behalf, and then everybody feels that, okay, I was not given the choice to choose or to select. But this also has a flip side. The problem is it's very time consuming, because to get consent of everyone to agree to a point, it takes a lot of time, unless people really proactively come forward and share their thoughts. So usually first people will not participate, they will not make effort to resolve conflicts, and once we'll come up with a solution or an action plan, then you will receive a lot of objections to that. So it's a very time consuming and an energy consuming style. And then the parties have to be on this of the same mindset, especially for example a person who has a collaborative style and has to work with the person who is a competitive style person. So you can see there's a conflict in the approach. They will not agree easily on the approach and the outcome. So that's the flip side of this style. So every style has its own benefits and also disadvantages. You'll have to choose. Actually, the best thing I would suggest is, rather than sticking to one style, be open to using different styles depending upon the situation, depending upon the people with whom you are interacting. But of course, as long as the intention is to create win-win situation, that is something you have to keep in mind. Keep the larger interest in mind. When we are working together, we have to create a good environment. You will never get a ready-made good environment. Everybody says, I wish we had a good work environment, but you will never get it ready-made. But collectively, we can work on it. We can create it. So as a team, if all of you decide that, okay, we at AIIMS want to, create this kind of environment, you can always work toward it. So actually, you really need to, create solutions. You will never get ready-made solutions. So I'm giving you a puzzle or a quiz, you can say puzzle. If you have worked on it or if you have done it, please stay quiet and don't give the answer immediately. Let others try their hand. So put this 9 dots on your notebook. You can put this 9 dots in your notebook. Done? Anybody who has done it earlier, raise your hand, please. Okay, Dr. Urvashi has done it. Okay, thank you, Dr. Urvashi, for not trying it because you know it already. So you have to connect these 9 dots with 4 straight lines without lifting your pen. So Dr. Urvashi, since you have done this one, can you try connecting all these 9 dots with just 3 straight lines?
3 straight lines. Let me try one.
Sure. So I'll repeat. Connect these 9 dots with 4 straight lines without lifting your pen. अगर पहले करा हुआ है तो नहीं करना है, तो 3 वाला करके देखिए. अगर 4 वाला करा हुआ है तो, अगर करने के बाद में कैमरे के सामने दिखाना है.
Ma'am, diagonals doesn't count.
नहीं, जैसे मर्जी करिए, कर्सिव नहीं कर सकते. इट हैज टू बी 4 स्ट्रेट लाइंस. यस मैम, थोड़ा पास करिए. मैम, बीच वाला एक डॉट रह गया ना. You have to connect all 9 dots.
Ma'am, in all ways, one dot is left. In all ways.
I know. There is a study by Harvard. It says every problem has minimum 4 solutions. Minimum 4 solutions. And every solution should be tried at least 4 times before you give up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 लाइन है सर ये. डॉक्टर रमन, 4.5 लाइन्स काउंट करो. आपने उसकी जो चेंज कर दी ना डॉक्टर उर्वशी, आप डॉट्स को चेंज नहीं कर सकते. डॉट्स की पोजीशन को आप वो नहीं कर सकते. इट हैज टू बी एट द सेम प्लेस, जैसे मैंने दिखाया था ना.
हाँ जी मैम.
डॉट्स हिला नहीं सकते हम. जी सर, कुछ करा आपने? सर 5 लाइन है डॉक्टर रितेश. 5 लाइन हो गई ना. ये काउंट करिए कितनी लाइन से, काउंट करिए. 5 हो गई ना. 4 लाइन्स. थोड़ा सा पास करिए डॉक्टर शैली. आपने पेन उठाया होगा ना? नहीं, विदाउट लिफ्टिंग योर पेन. And double भी नहीं कर सकते. You can't come back. Yeah. मैम अभी भी आपकी 3 डॉट्स अभी कनेक्टेड नहीं है ना?
Ma'am, this week, last one.
थोड़ा पास करिए. 5 लाइन हो गई ना?
ये करनी है.
4 लाइन करनी है ना?
4 करनी.
Ma'am, one dot is always left.
I know.
Yes, ma'am.
So दिखा दूं?
Ma'am, 4.5 can complete.
I know, I agree. दिखा दूं फिर?
Yes,
Or
ma'am.
you want another 30 seconds?
Ma'am, we give up.
Oh.
Central dot cannot be connected in.
I understand. So normally we all think in the box.
Hmm.
So you have to go out of the box to find a solution. The idea is, with changing time, you will experience new and different challenges in your work situation. If the approach is to find solution, you will always find a solution. Especially when you will collectively work on a problem or an issue. If you think the problem cannot be solved, that's because you are trying to do it solo. If you will do with the team, you will be not only be able to find one solution, but multiple solutions. Actually, you don't require even 4 lines. Even with 3 lines, you can connect all these dots. The whole idea is we need to go out of the box to find solutions to the problem. If the approach is positive, and collectively, if all brains work on a problem, you can solve anything. So check your approach, because the whole idea is, do I value my relationship at workplace? Honestly, we spend 8 to 10 hours at workplace. और ध्यान से देखेंगे तो घर पे सिर्फ खाना खाने जाते हैं, सोने जाते हैं, घर के काम करने जाते हैं. आपके सारे प्रोडक्टिव आवर्स जो है वो वर्क प्लेस पे स्पेंड करते हैं. So your workplace is like your second home, and people with whom you're working are your second family. But do I really value this relationship? Unfortunately, in the workplace, we make issue of very small things, exaggerate them. We don't fight, we don't argue always, but we go into our shell and get into Cold War. And a lot of things we do on the basis of assumption without even clarifying. You didn't inform me, you didn't ask me, you didn't check with me, I was not involved, I was not informed. So why can't I go and ask? Why can't I go and confirm? So a lot of time you have to have a very broad, perspective and very broad, approach, especially when we have people coming from different backgrounds, different socio-cultural conditioning. So give each other time to and treat each other like your family, like you would treat your younger brother or younger sister, or elder brother or elder sister. It'll be very, very different. Now, coming to the second point, and that's like, how do you really create a high performing teams? Much before that, I gave you that questionnaire on motivation. Do you have a hard copy of it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So just look at the statements from 1 to 5 and see if there's anything common between them.
Ma'am,
It's-
social
it's about-
interaction. Social interaction, ma'am. Ma'am,
So
social
it's-
interaction.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's about your way of, uh, you know, leading your life. There's nothing right or wrong about it, first of all. So very right. The first set of questions are about how do we socialize. So on if you will look at the your answers from 1 to 5, count the number of ticks. How many ticks you have been able to make on this, and on the left hand side you can write the score, the number of ticks. It could be 2, it could be 3, it could be even 1 for some of us, it could be even 0 for some of us. And as very rightly said by one of you, that it is the social, it talks about the social part. So Maslow has given a very beautiful theory of human needs, and he has clustered all these needs into 5 broad categories. And one of them is social need. So all of us have social need. Some would have little higher, some would have little okay. Many of us may have very, very low social need. So if it is 0, 1, or even 2, then I would say it's low. If it's 3, it's high, it's middle ground or maybe okay kind. And if it is 4 and 5, it is high social need. It's high social need. And all of us operate based on the intensity of the need. Now, some people who have social need, they'll go an extra mile to meet a friend. They'll go an extra mile to connect with somebody. Some of us would just wait for somebody to come to us and talk. We would not proactively go and interact or socialize. So it's okay. There's nothing right or wrong about it. Now, if you look at the statements from 6 to 10, which human need do you think these statements are talking about?
Self-image.
Ma'am,
Repo.
repo.
Self-image.
Repo.
Repo, reputation, or
Yes.
reputation.
Yes.
Okay. Any other guess?
Self-image.
Self-image. Very good. Any other interpretation?
Ma'am, being desire of being recognized.
Wow. Desire of being recognized. Very good. Excellent. So these are your self-esteem needs. So we all have self-esteem need. Some of us have intense self-esteem need. Some of us have maybe average or maybe no self-esteem need. So again, count the number of tick, write the number on the left-hand side, and beside it, you can write it's your self-esteem need. If you look at the statements from 11 to 15, what do you see the commonality between these statements?
Competitive nature.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Growth.
Mm-hmm.
Dedication to work.
Dedication to.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Very close. Any other guess?
Ma'am, achievement oriented.
Ma'am,
Again, very, very
commitment,
close.
committed.
Yes, very close. So these are your self-actualization needs. And what is self-actualization?
To prove
How
yourself.
much
What is
we
my
are
expectation?
efficient?
What if?
Purpose
Ma'am.
of life, what we want to
Expecting
achieve,
expectation from
how to contribute
Okay.
to the humanity.
Okay, purpose of life. Somebody
to
else
prove-
was saying something more.
Ma'am, to prove yourself, oneself, to prove
Okay,
oneself.
to prove oneself. Any other interpretation?
Finding your purpose.
Okay, finding your purpose. Again, a beautiful explanation. Any other?
To
Any
work
other?
towards a goal in life.
Okay, to move towards the goal in life. Dr. Urvashi, you wanted to say something?
Expectations from self.
Expectations from self. So self-actualization needs are maximizing your potential, where you're not working for the sake of just money. You want to see what is your limit. Up to what point can I do? So people who take challenges, they don't take challenges for the sake of money or anything lower than what they really are looking for. So it's more of an inward journey than the outward journey. So these scores are your self-actualization scores. So I can see some of you are giving your scores on this. Yes, 4, 3, 5. Okay. 4, very nice. 3. That's very nice. 5. Very nice. Wonderful, wonderful. So you can write on the left-hand side of these scores that these are your self-actualization scores on the same page. Now, if you look at the next set, and that is 16 to 20. So which human needs do you think these statements are talking about?
Purpose to work.
Basic
Purpose.
needs.
Financial
Ma'am,
needs.
purpose to work.
Basic needs of life.
Which
Finance.
are essential for survival, kind of.
Survival needs.
Essential needs, basic
Essential
needs,
needs,
survival
basic
needs. Am I
survival.
right?
Yes.
Okay, let's see how many scores have you attained on this. Dr. Lucky Gupta has got 1. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, 1, 1. Dr. Renu Sharma 1. Okay. So these are your basic needs or survival needs, which all of us have. But at this age, I'm sure this cannot be the motivation for you to work. And especially coming from the background where all these needs are already well met. So this cannot be a reason to motivate any one of us to work just for the sake of money. What about the last set, that is 21 to 25? Again, some of you have got only 1.
Stuck in comfort zone.
Any other guess? What exactly are these needs?
Stability in life is also essential.
Stability, okay. Comfort zone, okay. Stability, comfort zone, security, safety of what we are getting, to continue getting that. And again, I can see your scores as 1, 2, 1, 2 on this, right? So looking at your scores, let me first, okay, before I show you these, looking at your scores, what understanding do you get about yourself? If you would like to reflect or discuss. 3, okay, Dr. Uttam, yes.
Ma'am, I think basically I can talk about myself. I am working for self-actualization.
Okay.
And for maintaining self-esteem. Basic needs and security, they are not at top priority. As most of us or I have already met these needs.
Absolutely.
So basically, it's for self-esteem and self-actualization.
Wonderful.
That's why we are working
excellent.
here.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Renu, for sharing your scores. Anybody else who would like to reflect on their scores? Maximizing my potential. Absolutely, I agree. You can see most of you will have very low scores on the basic needs and the safety needs because they're already either well met. I look at it from the point of view of post-partition generations. So we are almost like third generation post-partition. 75 years, that means almost like. So if I look at my parents who were just the first generation who faced the partition time, so for them survival was a question. So for them the basic needs, especially because they got dislodged from their place of birth and place of living, so they lost all their financial assets and their business and their work, and they had to relocate to a new place. So for them survival and security needs or safety needs were instrumental. So in that era, people worked just for the sake of money and safety. You all are almost like third generation post-partition. So for you, you had parents who were educated, well settled economically, no issues about financial disturbance or economic disturbance. So as a result, for you, that's already there. What is there to work for? So naturally, these three set of needs, you will be more active in your case. That is social need, self-esteem need, and self-actualization need. Do you all agree with this? Anybody who is not agreeing with their scores, any scores, not just any scores.
Ma'am,
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, the conflict management style, my way of managing the conflicts at the workplace and at home, they are different. So
This is it is different, you're saying.
so the scoring,
Mhm.
then it will change. Like I can be one the like accommodating teddy bear at a workplace, and at home I'm entirely different.
So how do you explain this difference? What insight do you get by looking at your difference in approach, and you have been able to identify that I take a different approach at home and at, so what insight do you get from this?
Ma'am, at home, whenever there is a conflict, I get to the root, I discuss it, I talk face to face with the person I'm having the conflict, so that there are no grudges left. But at the workplace, sometimes I keep the grudges to myself rather than discussing that with the person.
So the explanation that you have given, from this, what do you understand about yourself?
the people at my home, they matter to me the most.
Mhm.
So that is why I don't want to speak with any grudges with them. While at
Mhm.
workplace, my main focus is on, maybe I'm wrong, but very competitive. So there, whatever the other person is thinking, it doesn't really bother me if I'm doing right.
Is there any other understanding that you get from your scores? This is one, I agree, I accept. Any other understanding? So there are two more versions that I understand from your scores. One, which I think most of you will agree, at home we are more in our natural self, because there's nothing much to lose. And you're living with those people, so it's like, बाहर आप जाते हैं, बहुत अच्छे कपड़े पहन के जाते हैं, मेकअप करके जाते हैं, सब तैयार करके जाते हैं, घर जाते हैं सबसे पहले हम कपड़े चेंज करते हैं, सबसे पुराना वाला कपड़े निकालते हैं, बहुत गर्मी थी आती है ना, बाल भी उठाकर पीछे जूड़ा बनाकर बांधते हैं, because we are in our comfort zone. So usually in comfort zone, our natural behavior comes out. But at the same time, please remember, you said, I value my relationship at home. Actually, we take the relationship at home for granted. So if I value, then I would take out my grudge, but I will not be aggressive. I will rather voice my my thoughts. If I don't like something, if I'm not okay with it, I'll say, I'm not comfortable with this. So check if that's what you are doing, that you are just voicing your thoughts in a very assertive manner, perfectly all right. There's nothing wrong. That's one point that you can look at home. Approach doesn't have to be aggressive. If I'm using aggressive approach at home, I'm damaging my support system. Please remember, your family is your support system. They are the closest one, and they are the one who will stand by you through thick and thin. And those relationships need to be nurtured, looked after, pampered. But at the same time, valuing relationship at workplace is important, because that is from where we carry the energy. You can never be peaceful at home if your work environment is not healthy. You will carry that negative energy and sadness and frustration to your home, and it will get either displaced, or it will be an issue of discussion all the time with your family members. My senior is doing like this, my junior is doing like this, my head of the organization is like this. So you'll always be talking ill about them. So you need to really check that. That's one thing. And second is, you said at workplace, I keep the grudge with me. Rather than grudge, can I find the right words to express myself, which doesn't come as a grudge, which come as my opinion or my need or my desire or something that's upsetting me. So for example, if you see unfair practice by anybody, one is, I can keep that grudge with me. It's more like, it's okay, that's the way people behave, passive. I keep the grudge and I'm sad and expecting my mental health, it's passive aggressive. I keep it to myself, it keeps building on, then a point comes when it becomes unbearable and I burst out. That is aggressive. So why not right in the beginning, when I experience some kind of unfairness, and I signpost to my person to whom I want to speak to, and I say, I need to speak about my concern. And you go up to that person and you say, couple of times I have observed that this is what has happened. Please correct me if this reading is wrong. And if it is true, then I would request you to see how we can resolve it. If the person hasn't done anything deliberately, the person will immediately apologize. I'm really sorry, I didn't do it deliberately, but I can see you have been given an unfair treatment. Even if the person does not apologize, you have brought this to the conscious mind of the person, that you are observing. you are hurt, you have an issue. At least next time when that person will be doing distribution of duty or whatever, will remember, oh, last time she came up to me with her concern. I have to respect that. And your problem is solved. I would always say, don't keep grudges. That's a very heavy weight on your chest. More than anybody else, you are going to be affected. Speak out, but speak in a cordial manner. Speak in a manner that you want that concern to be addressed, and allow the other person to explain their point. When they say, I'm really sorry, I didn't do it deliberately. नहीं, आपने जानबूझकर करा है, आपने पिछली बारी भी ये करा था. ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है कि सबको पता है और आपको नहीं पता? हो सकता है भाई, क्यों नहीं हो सकता? At least give that person benefit of doubt. और आगे देख लो, आगे देख लेना. अगर वो वैसे ही चलती है तो इसका मतलब है वो डिलिबरेट हो रहा है. Then you have to escalate. But at least एक चांस तो दोगे दूसरे व्यक्ति को करेक्ट करने का. But address, speak up, but speak in a cordial, respectful manner, honest manner. Then you see how the whole environment will change. But don't keep the grudges. Thank you for bringing that up, Puna. Thank you.
Ma'am,
Any other thought? Yes.
My feeling is, I am speaking just for myself.
Mhm.
I feel like I am more of a chameleon in the sense that, for example, my dominant style has come out to be collaborative owl.
Mhm.
So I think in that sense, I would agree, maybe. But then, as you pointed out in the presentation, that sometimes, first of all, it is very time consuming and energy consuming. And secondly, it works only when you have like-minded people. But that's the issue, like when you are at workplace or even at home, when you are with a lot of relatives, you will not always come up with like-minded people. So I feel like I change my style. If I'm thinking, then it depends. Like I would try to be a collaborative owl, but if I see people who are not going to understand and it seems like the collaborative style is not going to work, then based on two things probably. One is how important is the task at hand, and second is how much I feel confident about my understanding of it. Like there could be a place where something needs to be done, but I feel like I may not know much about it. So in that situation, if collaborative is not working, I might turn into the avoidant turtle, or even the accommodating teddy bear. But if I feel like I really know this thing, and if they are not listening to me, the work might get affected, then I might change into the fox or the shark kind of style. So I really feel like there is a lot of liquidity in how the conflict management is approached.
Absolutely, I agree with you, and we'll take it, to understand the finer detail. So first of all, I congratulate you and I thank you for being so honest about your approach. Usually, people don't like to talk about themselves in such an open way in front of their colleagues. So it takes a lot of courage to admit that. So I congratulate you for that courage. Second is you used a term for yourself there, that's chameleon. At times the label that we give to ourselves completely changes the whole concept of self-perception. So if I may ask you, why exactly did you use this word chameleon?
Okay, so if I have to think, it seems like till teenage years time, I used to behave like my exact natural self. But then with every passing step and every learning, I adapted to the situations, and I utilized some tools, I included some skills which seem more fit to go forward.
Mhm.
But they are not in truest sense my essence. If like my adaptive learning, I would say.
Mhm.
So,
But that's perfectly all
uh,
right.
hmm,
Only thing is you have given a wrong label to yourself.
okay.
So please mind yourself. The self-talk that we do is the program that you're giving to your mind and body.
Okay.
So please be careful about the labels that you give to yourself.
Hmm,
It could also be versatility that you're talking about,
okay.
which you're naming as chameleon. So in because we normally talk about chameleons like people who change their color with situation.
Hmm, hmm,
It's adaptability, it's flexibility, it's cognitive flexibility. So rather people who go with a fixed mind that only authoritative style will function or only this style will function, they would normally have challenge in meeting, their targets or meeting their purpose. Because you're not going to get always people who are like-minded. Being able to choose the right style in the right uh, situation is a wonderful way to be flexible. So don't feel bad about if you're changing your style of functioning. Only one concern that I had, wherever you feel that, okay, I know about it and I know more than others, just confirm once. Because a lot of time we think that I know and I know the best, but when you get to understand other person's, version, then you really get beautiful perspective from others. It will open your, learning, and also people will have faith that not that you are just going in a hedonistic way that I know the best and I'm the best.
hmm, hmm.
So it's always good to
Double
know
check.
from others,
Hmm,
take
hmm,
feedback from others.
hmm.
And a lot of time when you want to take a decision, ask others what do they say, give them a chance. So it will save you of this allegation that you take decisions on others behalf. And once they are not able to come up with something, then you offer what you have on your mind. There's nothing wrong. But I don't think being versatile is wrong. That's rather a very, and acquiring skills is what we are here for. Nobody comes ready made, nobody is born ready made. Sooner you learn these skills, make yourself better, grow in life. That's the beauty of life.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you for pointing out that I used a negative connotation for
Yes,
myself,
yes.
and it is kind of a pattern with me. Like it is easier for me to accept a negative thing about me rather
Never
than
do this.
huh. So
Never do
how to
this.
okay, because
Challenge
if
yourself. There's a technique. I mean, I'll be deviating from the
hmm,
topic and we'll be going to a different platform. There's a
hmm,
technique called CCR.
okay,
Please remember, it's for all of you, especially who are in habit of self-depreciation. Never, never, never let this happen. Anytime any thought comes to your mind, apply Socrates triple filter test. And that triple filter test will be applied in CCR. CCR is first C is check the thought. Is it true? Is it good thought? And if that term chameleon is not good, it is not kind, then I need to challenge it. And before that, I need to check, is it 100% true? Chameleons are people who would play being manipulative. Are you that kind?
no,
So C, first C is check, and that C is Socratic check. Three questions. One, is it good? Is it kind? And is it true? Do I have evidence to prove this? That is first C. Then challenge it. And challenge is one Uditi arguing with the other Uditi. One Uditi has said, you're chameleon. The other Uditi is asking, on what basis do you say this? What evidence do you have this? What have you done to call yourself like this? And once, usually if it's a wrong, thought, and once you'll challenge, you will get to know it was wrong. R is replaced with the productive or useful thought. CCR. Please practice this before you take anything in without, even if others say you, even if somebody had said you, Diti, you are chameleon. Don't take it like this. No. If it was somebody very close to you, trustworthy, your well-wisher, first of all, they will not use this label for you. They may tell you that this is what you do and this is not good for you. But their way of telling will not be hurtful. You are hurting yourself, degrading yourself, depreciating yourself. Never do this.
Ma'am, what is the second C? Sorry, ma'am.
Second C is challenge. Second C is challenge.
And ma'am, like when others also, if someone has told me a negative thing about, or I have just heard as a hearsay, I find it easier to accept when something negative is said. And if someone is very honest about the praise, I will still doubt it, that it is just to please me or just to make me feel good.
Trust take times to build, Uditi. I mean, I don't know for how long you all have been together. Trust takes time to build, but then I think more open and honest we are with each other, more quicker you will have trust. Like for example, we are met for just 6 hours. I think it's the 5th hour of our meeting, but I can see all of you are opening up. So it's a proactive, action that we need to take to build trust, to win trust, to prove that I am trustworthy. And the moment you will decide, all of you, you'll be able to trust each other very well.
Ma'am, even with my mother, like even if my mother like sometimes says, no, matlab ek generally
come
she
back,
says,
come back. No,
okay,
we can't
I'm
afford
entering
to
into therapy.
waste time. I know it's
Okay,
interesting,
sorry,
but then
ma'am.
we'll be, yeah. I think Dr. Lucky has had something to say. Sorry, you have a question, Dr. Lucky? Let me read it. Is there a question? Conflict management, my score was accommodative score, but I think I'm a very dominant one. Again, thank you so much for disputing your own scores. Either you don't know yourself, or the answers that you have given are a lot of time, we give answers that appear socially acceptable, or what we think of ourselves, because we like to think good about ourselves. So a lot of time we don't think, oh, I'm not rude. I may be very rude. I'm not rude. So because we prefer giving, a more socially acceptable answers or ideal answers. So you can take this questionnaire once again, try to be honest to yourself, as real as possible. Keep that scores with you. You will get to know more about yourself. Another thing is, a good way will be, have people around you whom you trust. Don't make smaller group. I think that's a very unhealthy way, but have people whom you trust, whom wisdom you trust. Take feedback from them. Share your vulnerabilities with them. When I say share your vulnerabilities, I'm not asking you to share your personal private information, which you may regret tomorrow sharing with your this thing. But at least some of the pertinent questions that you can ask them about, what do you think about my approach? What do you think is right? And don't ask to people who just say yes to you because they want to say yes to you. Ask people who have courage to say you, I think you were not right here. I think that was not okay. You should have such people. 1 second, Dr. So when you will ask them, you will get to know more about yourself. And when somebody passes a comment on you, go up to them and in a very cordial way ask, you gave this comment. I'm sure there must be a reason. I want to understand that reason. And try to know more about yourself. A lot of time, I don't know if you have read about Johari window. Has anybody read about Johari window? So Johari window says we have 4 quadrants of self: public self, private self, blind self, and then area of unknown activity. So public self is what I know about myself and when people know about myself. And more you are, transparent in your approach towards life, towards your work, towards everything, more likely you are to build good relationship with people around you. More likely people are going to trust you because you don't hide things. You are not mysterious in your approach. You are not that kind who would, not tell the truth in a right manner. larger the public self, happy you will be, peaceful you will be, because there you're not hiding anything. A lot of us will have a huge private self. We like to keep everything as secret. We don't like to share things. We don't like to reveal things. It's all right to have some private self, but having a large private self is not a good idea. You're burdening yourself. Then all of us have some weaknesses, but if it's a too big a burden, people know and I don't know, that's blind spot. Something about you, people know and you don't know, that's very sad. That means I have some personality types or virtues which are detrimental, but people can't come up to me and tell me. So have people around you who can actually point out to that blind spot. Can we have two personalities? Yes, especially when we have very strict compartmentalized. This is what I'm at home and this is what I am at a workplace. I know a couple of professors who are extremely, extremely cordial at workplace, but I know them that at home they are very, very nuisance, I can say. They use, they use abusive language for their kids and their spouses. They don't mind even hitting their kids. They are very aggressive at home, but we're at workplace, they're very, very cordial. I mean, that's the way they like to lead their life. That's their choice. Okay, I think Dr. Diptanu, you have a question. I think you want to say something.
Yes, ma'am. I have a question regarding the motivation exercise.
Yeah.
Here, I can find myself having high scores in self-actualization needs, as well as the basic needs part, which most of us are having low scores, but I have given myself 5 scores. So, just to understand whether it is any problem with that or not, because I believe I myself personally is not financially established till now or secure as for now. So I believe that for me, for working motivation, self-esteem or self-actualization, both are required, as well as the money, which is important for me and my family, and for my financial security is also important. So, your
it's
opinion on
perfectly
that?
all right. It's a wonderful combination. It's perfectly all right. And thank you for coming out with this question. You may have your basic needs and security needs or the safety needs in place because they are not fully fulfilled, and you still may have self-actualization need because there's a burning desire to do something extraordinary. Why not? Why not? It's perfectly all right. Make best use of both. Make best use of both.
Yes.
Oh, I can see
the driving force. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Why not? Why not? Now, not that your physiological needs would stop you from going to self-actualization, but they both can exist in peace, and you may work for both of them. But both will work as a driving force for you. They'll both work. I'll be explaining you a little more about this concept. So very quickly, I think 3 people have raised hands, and I'll ask Dr. Raman to first start. To ask.
Ma'am, I have taken one of your lines while communicating with Dr.
I'm not able to hear you clearly. So all others are able to listen.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Slightly better. Thank you for raising your voice. Yes, please. Yeah.
So while communicating with Dr. Lucky Gupta, you said कि आपको अपने pros and cons किसी बंदे से जानने होंगे. Okay, somebody should be there around you who tells you कि आप क्या सही हो, क्या गलत कर रहे हो, या आप में क्या competencies हैं या capabilities हैं. So मैं सिर्फ इसी बात से क्वेश्चन उठाना चाहूँगा कि what happens to that guy who said truth?
Sorry, I missed that. What happens to that guy who?
What will be the impression of that guy?
आवाज नहीं आ रही. आप वो निकाल दीजिए. नहीं, मुझे आवाज नहीं आ रही. Dr. Raman, I'm not able to hear you.
We'll take some other.
नहीं, आप बोलो. ये क्वेश्चन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है और इसका आंसर भी है.
You may write if it is not possible to correct the audio right now. Can you please write in the chat box?
पर आपकी ऑडियो क्यों नहीं काम कर रही? अभी तो बहुत अच्छे से काम कर रही है.
अभी रिसेंटली ना सबका ही इंटरनेट
अब बोलो आप. It is audible.
मैम जैसे आपने लकी गुप्ता मैम को कम्युनिकेट कर रहे थे कि आपके आसपास ऐसे लोग होने चाहिए जो आपको आपकी कैपेबिलिटीज प्रोज एंड कॉन्स बताएं. तो इफ समबडी इज देयर टू टेल यू, so what would be the impression on that person who tells you about you?
Very good. That's a good question. That's a good question. देखो मैं एक चीज हमेशा जो कहती हूँ, जो मैं आपको सबको कहूंगी, always have two people who are there to mentor you, and always have two people whom you will be mentoring. So I'm not saying that the person has to be in the same organization. It could be your family member, it could be a spouse, it could be your children. They are your go-to people with whom you can go and tell very honestly, I did this and this was my intention. Tell me if I was wrong. Who can give you a very honest feedback. Always have two people whom you mentor and have two people whom you can go to for mentoring. Dr. Pankaj, I think your device is not muted. Give me 1 second. Yeah, thank you. So if you think in this system, I cannot go to somebody and talk about my weaknesses or my issues, it's perfectly all right. I would not advise you to speak about your issues unless you really, really trust that person. But you can test, you can start with small things. You can talk about things that otherwise also are known to them, but you are seeking their advice. And then slowly you can see if that person goes and talk ill about you or makes use of that information, and then you can choose. But then it all, as I said, that you need not have it always in the organization. It could be even outside. When will we meet those? अभी तक ढूंढा नहीं तो मिला नहीं. जिस दिन ढूंढेंगे वो मिलेंगे. 100% है ये. हम पूरे प्रोग्राम का सेशन हमारा आगे पीछे जा चुका है. So I don't know. जी, please, Dr. Aman, go ahead. Yeah, quickly. Yeah.
In continuation, your answer, ma'am. मैम अगर हम इस बात को सिंप्लीफाई कर दें, तो can we say that we cannot explain our things to everybody?
Of course, no, okay. Not at all.
And last thing, ma'am, you said that you should know there are some things that people know about you, but you don't know about yourself.
Yes.
So can we reveal those things by any test?
अब जैसे कि अगर आप किसी को भी अपने यहाँ पे जिसको आप सोचते हैं कि दिस पर्सन विल गिव मी अ वेरी ऑनेस्ट एडवाइस, अब जैसे ही आपने जाकर रिवील करा कि मेरी ये बात हुई और मेरे मुंह से ये निकला और ये बात हो गई और चीज खराब हो गई, वो अगर आपका वेलविशर है और आपको वो फीडबैक दे सकता है, तो वो आपको आपका ब्लाइंड स्पॉट पॉइंट करेगा. वो आपको कहेगा कि आई थिंक what you said was not right, or maybe whatever you had to say, it should have been said in a different way. I mean, you could have postponed your response. So that person has given you feedback that this is your weak point. Probably you acted impulsively, or the language that you chose was not appropriate, or the moment that you chose was not appropriate. So that's good enough a cue for you to work on yourself. Okay, I need to change my way of handling things. And that's how we reduce the blind spot. We reduce the bad breath area. This is called bad breath area. Yeah, thank you for asking that question. So we have two more people, Dr. Sheetal and Dr. Shaili. So Dr. Sheetal, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Ma'am, I have a question regarding communication. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Communication is a two-way process. Suppose we want to have a positive outcome of communication with someone and we adopt the right mode of communication, but the other person is not conducive. How far will our positive approach help in attaining arriving at a positive outcome of this communication?
In most of the situations, it brings result sooner or later. But at the same time, how much of energy and time do you really want to give to this? That's a choice you have to make. If you really value that relationship, you will give your all possible energy to improve that relationship. So for example, when it comes to handling your children, you will see a lot of indiscipline or misbehavior or some practices among your children which you would want to change, and you will work all your life to correct them, to help them become better. But again, if that's a person who does not have much importance to your life and has nothing much to contribute, then you need to choose how much of energy you want to give to that relationship. So a good example of this is, I don't know how many of you have seen that program called 1 Minute Manager. Sorry, 1 Minute Show. Have you seen that 1 Minute Show? So in that 1 minute show, they make you, do something and see how much you can do in that 1 minute. So it could be like, how many balls you can pick up from this place and put it in the other bag or box. So you are given, as many balls you can do, but how many you can do, that's up to your speed. So similarly, in one of the shows, they gave bananas and they said, how many bananas can you peel in 1 minute? So there are people who will pick a banana, even if it is raw, they'll keep peeling it off. They'll put all their efforts to peel it off. There are people who are very smart who will pick a banana. The moment they'll see it's raw, they'll throw that banana and pick another one. I hope that answers your question.
We have to choose our battles wisely.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Lucky, for that. I am always there, just a phone call away. We can always connect with. I'm available to all of you. Thank you so much. Pleasure. Yes, Dr. Shelley, you have the question, I think.
Ma'am, this is about myself only. I would say that it is in my nature that wherever I don't get those, good vibes around me, like if there are some things, I usually isolate myself from those people. So I am left with very few friends, then I would say. So I don't know if this kind of approach is actually good or not, because if I'm thinking that these people are not, just that vibe or that some feeling that comes in gut feeling or something, I can say, I usually stop talking to those people and eventually just isolate myself. I don't know if that approach actually, because then you're left with very few people around you. So if that approach is good or not, that is what
so is that helping you to grow and become a better person, Shelley?
Ma'am, at least I feel that I am fine.
Safe. तो आपकी सेफ्टी नीड उस वक्त एक्शन में आ जाती हैं. अगर मैं मैस्लोज की बात करूं, सेल्फ एस्टीम, सोशल नीड, सेल्फ एक्चुअलाइजेशन नीड सब सेकेंडरी हो जाती है.
Because sometimes, because it happens that I start behaving very differently when I don't get those vibes.
Shelley, देखो, एक
like
question.
not those good.
So all of us have people who radiate negative energy to us. Everyone will have. अगर मेरी लाइफ में एक या दो लोग ऐसे मुझे लगते हैं जो मुझे लगता है कि they radiate negative energy, there's nothing wrong in distancing yourself from them. It's perfectly all right, because your safety, your sanity is very, very important. पर अगर मुझे बहुत सारे लोगों से negative vibes आ रही हैं, then I need to check, is my sensor gone wrong? क्योंकि सभी लोग negative energy radiate नहीं.
No.
अगर एक दो लोग हैं जो जिनको देख के आपको लगता है कि हाँ इनसे मुझे नेगेटिव एनर्जी आ रही है, इट इज अंडरस्टैंडेबल, ठीक है, डिस्टेंस कर लो और वर्क ऑन दैट रिलेशनशिप, बट देन नो दैट ओके वी डोंट गेट अलोंग वेल, वी रियली हैव ह्यूज क्लैशेस बिटवीन अस. न्यूट्रल में भी चले जाओगे तो भी ठीक हो जाएगा, पीछे हटने की जरूरत नहीं है, सिर्फ एनर्जी एक्सचेंज बंद कर दो. लेकिन अगर मुझे बहुत सारे लोगों से लग रहा है कि मुझे नेगेटिव एनर्जी है, देन आई नीड टू चेक माई सेंसर. देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी कि मेरा सेंसर corrupt हो गया है, and I need to revalidate it.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Welcome. So quickly moving forward to the very short presentation on Maslow's, because I want to send you back with a very deep understanding of Maslow's theory. And एक minute. Okay. There we go. Okay. So अभी तक जो हमने बात करी, जो आपके स्कोर्स आए, वो सब इस तरह से थे कि फिजियोलॉजिकल नीड हमारी सबकी बेसिक नीड्स हैं, which is like food, sleep, homeostasis, and other biological needs. Safety needs like our security of body, security of sanity, security of being your identity, morality, family, health, all this is your safety need. Third is your social need, which is more like friendship, family, intimacy with people. Self-esteem need, which has more to do with your self-confidence, self-concept, respect for self, respect for others. And finally, self-actualization need, which is to do with your ability to, maximize your potential. Now, the intensity of the physiological need is always highest, you will see. So if I look at this chart, you will see the strength of physiological need is highest and strength of self-actualization need is very, very low. Only 10 to 15% of the people are actually able to experience self-actualization or actually use this to their advantage. You may have a lot of dreams, you may have a lot of desires, you may want to do something extraordinary, but do you have that much of persistence and energy and efforts? And that's what is going to decide whether you really enjoy these needs or they just remain as dream. Also, these needs, although they're presented in this order, for each one of us, it can be very, very different. Like, for example, Dr. Diptanu said, my physiological and my self-actualization need are equal in power. Possible. There's nothing wrong in it. But this is just to symbolically show you the intensity of the need. Now, at workplace, how do these needs get converted? Let's look at it. For example, your basic needs at workplace will get converted into or get transferred into something like your salary or the place where you're working. Is it comfortable, cafeteria, food, and other things, environment, work environment, how good it is. Similarly, safety needs will get converted into the safe work environment, the benefits of your job security. Your social needs will be seen more as your work relation, needs and professional association, the relationship that you maintain with your colleagues. Similarly, your self-respect need or self-esteem need will be seen more as the job title that you're looking for or the prestige and the status of your job. And your self-actualization need will get converted when you are looking for challenging job, or you are achievement oriented, or you are advancement or growth oriented. So in a workplace, these get expressed in a different way. Now, people who are just working, if Diptanu had just the survive, Dr. Diptanu, is it okay if I'm taking your example?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So if Diptanu had just the survival and security need in place, he will be the first person to fly to any place wherever he'll get a higher job, higher pay. But considering that he has equally high self-actualization need, and if he's working for me, and if I can make use of this need and give him an opportunity where he can actually take up challenging works, it will be very, very easy for me to retain him and also get best from him. So when we are talking about how do you create high performing need, the same understanding will apply for your team. So what is their primary need and how can I use it to maximize their performance? So a person who is working just for salary, for example, if you will look at your I'm sorry to use this term, pardon me for that. If you will look at your general duty staff or security staff or housekeeping staff, so mostly they are surviving at their survival need and security need. Because we are not able to engage them and create the needs of social need or self-esteem need or self-actualization need. So therefore, their sense of belongingness to us or to the organization may not be extremely good. But if you are able to engage them by incorporating belonging needs, for example, how many of you really Know your staff by name, address them by name. Or when they say you good morning, how many of you look at them and you respond to their good morning? How many of you ask them, how are you? You're not looking well. Is everything okay? Is everything fine at home? So what I'm saying, are you engaging with them at that level? If you're engaging, I'm sure you are getting the result of that. They are more cooperative. They do their best. They go extra mile to see whatever you require. But if you are not engaging with them at the social need level, or self-esteem level, they are not engaged with you. So there's a possibility anytime if they'll get a better job, they will leave this place and go away. And usually it is said people don't change organizations, they change their bosses. And therefore, am I able to engage my employee, my team at all, if not all five, at least the 4 levels? The self-esteem and social need everybody has. Can you engage your team members by engaging at their, and it's not that they have, even if they don't have, can I create that need? Can I trigger that need? Can I evoke that need and fulfill that need and engage them? So proactively, when you will start interacting with your team members and evoke this need of social engagement and self-esteem engagement, this will start becoming a motivator. Now, if you look at the right side, security need and survival need are considered as demotivators because they don't have any motivational value. Especially if you see in government sector, it's said that if you're in a government job, your job is safe and your basic requirements are fulfilled, and therefore people don't perform. So if you see for the last couple of decades, they have stopped hiring, people on full-time jobs. There are more contractual jobs than the full-time jobs, especially for class 3 and class 4. The whole idea behind it is it's believed that if a person has a permanent job and has a secure job, person stops performing. I think it's altogether a wrong approach. I would rather say, rather than making them feel insecure and making them perform, why not engage them? Why not give value for their job? Why not acknowledge for what they are doing? Because if you are able to engage them at social need level and at self-esteem level, actually you will be able to see a lot of contribution and participation by them. So by creating insecurity, you cannot motivate people. So that's a short-term kind of a approach that we are taking. So people working at the survival and security need would usually be working for money. They will leave anytime when they get a better job with better pay scale. Especially if they are not happy with the job, they are more likely to look for new jobs and see if they can change their job. Similarly, a person working, whose belonging need or self-esteem need, social need is in place, you'll find them, experiencing that I'm a part of the team. I'm an important part of the team. And I am enjoying the work that I'm doing. I'm proud of the work I'm doing here. So they feel important. They feel being achiever. As a result, they are likely to stay with you, work with you, and also give their best. Of course, people at self-actualization need, they will not only work, but they'll be ready to help others also. They'll also inspire by doing their best. And usually they'll be able to, set a high level of standards. So this is an interesting finding that I want to share with you, and it will come as, it will come handy for you to deal with the younger generation, especially with your students and the new, teaching faculty or the staff that you will have with you. See, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs is very different for generation Z or millennials. And you can see it for yourself also. Even your physiological and safety needs are not active. because they're already fulfilled. So if you're not hungry, and if I ask you to eat, you will not care to eat beyond a point. Maybe you will taste a bit and then you will leave it. Similarly, if your physiological and safety needs are met, they cannot be the motivation. They cannot be the reason for you to give your best. But for productivity to increase, to get best from your team, you will have to strike at these three needs. Especially with millennials, they value work relationship. So you'll have to create good work relationship with your team if you want people to give their best. Recognition of their work, because that is what people really feel bad about. Especially, I'm sorry to say, in healthcare, if something is done by a surgeon or a clinician, which is extraordinary, it's always shown as, performance by one person. Whereas we all know nobody can work in isolation. It's a team who is working behind us. But do we give them recognition? Do we give them recognition for their efforts? And if you don't give it, people slowly start feeling dissatisfied. They will start, going down on performance and contribution. If you really want to, retain your team, if you really want to, give them professional satisfaction, you will have to recognize their efforts and acknowledge what they are doing. For example, if your room is clean 364 days, do we ever call the cleaning staff and tell them, thank you for cleaning my room? Thank you for cleaning the bathroom. Thank you for cleaning the clinic. But one day, if my room is not clean or the toilet is not clean, we'll call them and literally shout at them. So that's the approach we are taking. Whereas recognition is a very powerful tool to engage anybody, because that raises their self-esteem and their desire to work for you. And of course, millennials now work more for growth and promotion. So the term loyalty, for us, it was like, you join a job and you retire from that job. But you will see even among yourself, if anybody is able to stay for say 5-6 years and doesn't change the job, we consider, oh, that person has given their loyalty. With the generation Z, 2 to 3 years. So every 3 years, you will see them changing their job. So don't be surprised if your siblings or your kids tomorrow, come up to you say, oh, I'm not liking this job, I want to change it. And they'll just change to another organization, which was very new to us, very surprising to us. But very honestly, I myself have changed my job thrice. I took 3 times government job and left the government job because I found it very stagnating. The last job I left was almost like 28 years ago. 30 years ago, you can say. That was the last job that I took and I left. It was a government job. But today you will see this as a norm. For me, like when I did it, people were very surprised. How can anybody think of leaving a government job? But then, everybody has their own priorities. But today you will see this happening very, very, very often. So if you are looking for a high-performing team, creating high-performing need, you really need to understand the temperament of today's generation. This is just to add to this thing. Now, this has become their pyramid of Maslow's need. So this is point 2.0 kind of a version. Now, Wi-Fi, laptop, phone, all this is their physiological need. The safety need is about GPS and Google and email and their password. And of course, their social needs are fulfilled at the social platforms like Skype, Facebook, WhatsApp, and other things. And esteem needs are when they're able to post what they're doing, on Instagram and Twitter. And I don't know what this icon is. Somebody can tell me, this yellow with the white one.
Snapchat.
Snapchat.
Oh, okay, Snapchat. Sorry, I'm outdated. So, and self-actualization need is when people are able to post their work on a LinkedIn and also, make some YouTube videos and showcase how to do it. So this is an interesting, study I found, and I thought I must share with you. Younger generation is looking for personal growth. That's their reason for being at a place. Can you give them a chance? Can you create those opportunities? And personal growth is not in terms of designation or money. See, remuneration is the last reason for them to be with you. Just 4%. 32% of the respondents care for personal growth and autonomy, 15%. So that's what, and pleasure and the responsibility they are given. Whereas stability, which was most important for us once upon a time, has just 4% of, this thing importance to them. Similarly, another questionnaire was given to the managers and the employees, and they found employees actually value appreciation of work done. So if you can, and appreciation is nothing but self-esteem. You're fulfilling their self-esteem need. Feeling of being in on things, again, self-esteem need and social need. Help on personal problem, again, a social need. And then comes the job security, good wages, and interesting work and other things. On the contrary, managers, they value good wages. People are at the higher position. They look for good wages and job security and good work and condition. But usually millennials care more about about the growth opportunities to grow, and also to take up challenging jobs. So coming quickly to the how do you really choose right people for the right place? You will never get anybody ready-made. You will never get people who are ready for a position. Then how do you choose your team? You can't even choose them. So whoever you have with you, from them you will have to decide who will be whom I will be working to start with. So please make a list of all the members who are working with you. You can just write the initials, and that's for you, not in the chat box. On a piece of paper in your notebook, write down the names of the people, or initials you can write. Everybody who's working with you or under you. It could be your colleague, or it could be the housekeeping staff and other GDA staff working for you. Write down their names on a piece of paper. So just let me know once you're done.
Ma'am, I apologize. Could you repeat the thing that you asked? Sorry. Could you repeat the thing that you asked?
Yes, yeah. Ma'am, actually.
Make a list of people who are working with you in your team. So including your own colleagues with whom you are working as a team, and also people who are working under you in your department or in your work area. Include even the people who are your general duty staff, clerks, nurses, whoever. Yeah. Write done in the chat box so that I know you are ready with your list. So once you have done this, draw a grid like this. Make a grid like this, and the 4 quadrants that you will have, try to look at the names and write these names in these 4 quadrants. Divide them on the basis of their willingness to work and their skill to do the job. So it's called skill will grid.
Ma'am, can you please repeat again? I'm after seeing this, I'm still unsure of the list that you wanted us to prepare.
Okay, so you have the names ready with you. Now those names need to be put in this grid in your notebook. So the categories are, there will be people who are low skill and low motivation. That means they lack skill and they lack willingness to work. So that is lower left quadrant, low skill, low will. On the lower right quadrant will be people who are highly skilled. They know their job very well, but their willingness to perform is very low. On the upper right quadrant will be people who are highly skilled and who are highly motivated. That means high skill and high will. On the left upper quadrant will be people who are highly motivated, but skill wise, they are not very experienced or not very skilled. So after you have done this, please write down in the chat box. After you have put their initials in each category. So the names that you have written in the upper right quadrant, that is highly skilled and highly motivated, that means high skill, high will, they are basically your champions. These are the people whom you would know that you will not have to make much effort to work with, because they are already motivated and they know their job well. So they are more like your champions. But then they will be just maybe less than 10% of the people that you have around. Most of the people will fall in the second category, and that is followers. So the question is, it's not enough to have just champions. You need more people to actually take the responsibility. How do you handle rest of them? So if I may ask you, looking at this grid, of course, we have high skill and high will people who will lead, but whom will you target next from the rest 3 categories?
The one
Skill and highly motivated.
High skill and low motivation.
And low skills, highly motivated.
Low skills, highly motivated.
Motivation.
Okay. People who have willingness to do. Maybe they don't know. You will be your next batch. Okay. After that,
High
High skill, low
High skill, low
motivation.
motivation.
Highly motivated.
high skill and low
Low
motivation.
motivation.
So what do you think if I ask you in terms of energy, time, and efforts among the two groups, which one will be easy to tackle?
Low skills, highly motivated.
Low skills, low motivation.
Low
Most
skills,
likely,
highly
yes.
motivated.
Most likely, yes. Because low skill, low
Low
motivation,
motivation.
maybe people who can be given little skill and can be motivated and can be
Motivated.
brought to either upper left or upper right. Because people who are highly skilled, but if their motivation is low, that means, by the way, which category of people will fall here? Mostly who are very experienced, very knowledgeable. They know their job.
Not happy with the organization or the environment.
By the way, what is the reason for low motivation?
Appraisal, money, endorsements. I mean, recognition is about.
Okay.
Lack of personal growth.
Lack of personal growth.
Yes.
Lack of personal growth. Absolutely. What more?
Social interaction नहीं वो तो जरूरत ही नहीं है उसकी तो because वो तो हाँ उसकी जरूरत है मैम because highly motivation नहीं है high low motivation है तो इसका मतलब social interaction नहीं काम है.
Possible that their job is not being recognized or their effort is not being recognized, then they lose motivation. They're very good at it. So you'll see a lot of time technicians who really know their job well. They can actually repair a machine without the help of an actual technician coming from the company. But if we are not able to give them due credit of their work, they'll say they won't do it, especially if you are not in good terms with them. They will not give their 100%. Senior staff sometimes, they become low on motivation a lot of time when their work becomes obsolete. So anybody who is wonderful at drafting, had a very prestigious position in the system that, okay, this person's drafting is very good. But then suddenly Google came in and today you type, for drafting, you get so many samples of drafts that you don't require that service anymore. Things for which you were consulting somebody or you were really valuing that person, and that information, if it is available on Google, that position loses its power. So that can be a low motivation. A lot of time we have AI coming in, replacing the human intelligence. You will find people going low on motivation. The change of job requiring upscaling can be a reason for low motivation. So if you remember in banks, when computers came in, a lot of people opted for VRS because they were not willing to upscale themselves and they were finding it too hard to work on this thing. So they may go low on motivation and they may decide to move rather than changing, though they know their job very well, but they don't want to move to computers because they are used to manual work and they suddenly feel out of place. And these are the people who can actually be blockers of your work. So people who are in the upper right quadrant with high skill, high will, they'll actually be your advocates. On the other side, people who are low on skill but have high will, they will usually be your willing followers. And if you are able to give them the skills required, they'll pick up these skills and they'll actually fall in the champions category. Low skill, low will people can resist because it is difficult to come out of comfort zone. It is difficult to admit that I don't know. It is difficult to believe that I fall in the category where I'm not performing and I don't even have the desire to perform. They may actually not have any vision also for themselves or for the organization. They can actually resist. A lot of them, in spite of given opportunity, will refuse to upgrade their skills. And even if you try to motivate them, they may resist that. Whereas people in the lower right category with high skill but low will can be a blocker. That's one of the possibility I'm saying. So what will work? People who are in the high skill, high will category, you need to challenge them. Because if you challenge them, give them something interesting, something meaningful, something purposeful, they will most likely perform very high. On the other side, people who are high on will but low on skill, you need to guide them and upscale their skills. People on low skill and low will, they require direction, they require guidance, they require direct points what they need to do. And people who are in the fourth category, that is high skill and low will, they require motivation because otherwise they can be a potential detractor for you. And Maslow's theory will come very handy here if you are able to engage them at the higher order needs. See, the physiological needs and safety needs are called lower order needs, and social needs, self-esteem need, and self-actualization need are called higher order need. If you can strike at the higher order need, if you can, give them importance, if you can recognize their work, if you can show them their, value, they can get motivated. So it's important to excite this group by giving them a vision, by giving a mission, by giving a purpose, by valuing their experience, by giving importance to what they know. Whereas all others would be like, they need direction, guide, and delegation. So this is again just to tell you that you need to empower with the performance with the right required resources. Whereas with the high skill, low will category, you will require to motivate them. Now, how do you go about doing it? Let's take first high skill, high will. So people who are in high skill, high will, you just need to delegate them. You just need to empower them with the right, resources. You need to just challenge them by giving additional responsibility because they are already ready. They are ready to lead. What they require is a praise and endorsement. And you will see praise and endorsement every category requires. If you look at all 4 quadrants, in every category, praise and endorsement work. So it's very important to recognize, acknowledge, appreciate the work done by people. And then collaborate on decision making because they are going to take your project upward. So you really need to involve them at the decision making level. Coming to the advice, that is category which is high will but low on skill, they require teaching and training. If they don't know something, you have to give them a chance to learn. Maybe send them out for a training, maybe organize a training program within the organization, ask experts to come and teach us how to do it. They require upskilling. They require guidance because initially to start, they will require hand-holding. That once they learn, they'll be pro at it and they will be able to lead on their own. But initially they'll require teaching, training, guidance. Of course, praise and endorsement will keep them motivated to keep learning and going up. People in the left low category, that is low will and low skill, they require direct directions. So they need to be not only given, the teaching and training that they require and the guidance they require, but also you will have to identify what is limiting them, what is stopping them, what is their concern. So it could be the self-esteem, low self-esteem. It could be the desire not to come out of their comfort zone. And then you'll have to address that. Then what will motivate this group, you will have to identify individually. For somebody, money might work. For somebody, some relaxation might work. For somebody, just recognizing their work will work. So you'll have to identify those motivators and endorse. And also, of course, praise and endorsement will work for all of them. The last category, that is high skill but low will. So we know there are reasons why they are not giving. Identify those constraints. It could be the job profile, it could be the appraisal, it could be some adverse comments by somebody, it could be lack of recognition. So you really need to identify the constraints and work on those constraints, and also, you know, tap on the motivator, see what will work. So for this group, I feel self-esteem, social need, and self-actualization will definitely work. And praise and endorsement, as I said, it will work for every category. So will work for this category. Yes, Dr. Raman, I think you have something to ask. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, if somebody has got high will and money is the motivation, shall that person go for a corporate or some startups, despite, even if the person does not have any idea or any business idea or anything? Let us say he will find up, once he jumps into the market, he will find some options, some ideas, he'll meet people. But if the person has got high motivation, high will, and money is also another like motivation, so shall that person jump into the market or not? Market means the world, society.
Exploring the exploring
options.
See, these are actually two different things. One, to get into something, you require motivation. There is no doubt about it. Without motivation, you will not move an inch. That's there. But to be successful in what you want to do, the steps that you need to take before you plunge into something, for example, doing the SWOT analysis, understanding the market, understanding what is the demand for the market. For example, somebody wants to get into something which has no demand at all. What is the failure rate of that particular business? I remember a relative of mine, you know, he sold his house and bought a hotel. And I was just speaking to a financer. He's into banking. I said, this is what has happened with one of my cousins. He said, hotel industry has 45% failure rate. So unless you are really thorough with what you are getting into, you will not succeed in hotel industry. So these are the things that you really need to study before you plunge into something like this.
And because what I consider is कि हम जितने भी faculties हैं यहाँ साथी, we all basically fall into the high skill category. तो हमारे पास skills तो हैं ही, skills हैं तो automatically ideas है. If we stick ourselves to our own business, like medicine or even research or education, if we stick ourselves to our own business, that means we are high on the skills or we are high on the idea. Motivation, let us say money आता है, and will तो हमारा strong है. So we might get a bit of success if we fall into the.
देखो, you may be wonderful in medicine, but कल अगर आपने business पे जाना है तो वो subject knowledge अगर नहीं है, you will not succeed. A lot of clinicians fail as management. A lot of clinicians fail when they have their own nursing home because they don't have management skills, and they thought because I'm a doctor, because I'm a good clinician, so I'll be able to manage. Everything has become so systematic now that if you want to get into it, you have to start learning from the basic, have the best of knowledge, and then once you plunge into it, nobody can stop you from succeeding. So I think subject knowledge is very important, and do a lot of R&D before you get into something. There are a lot of tools like SWOT analysis and exploring alternatives and finding out from the market. Then plunging into it, definitely anybody can get in. I mean, you can do anything. Anybody can do anything.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So this is in a nutshell about how do you go about, creating high-performing teams, choose right people for the right place, build good relationship. I think one book which I promised last time also, and I have not yet shared, I'll share it today. That's 1 Minute Manager. Actually, you can change your relationship with anybody on the earth by using these 4 steps. I'll share the book with you. And this is not just for the management. It is even at home with your family members, with your friends, with your neighborhood. So what is those 4 steps? First step is define code of conduct. Have clarity on code of conduct. What is expected from the other person? What responsibility do you take in that relationship? That's code of conduct. First. Second is catch people doing something good. Everybody has some good point, some talent, some qualities, something that they're really good at. It could be their language, it could be their expression, it could be their body language, it could be their tone of voice, it could be their handwriting, it could be their appearance, it could be their walk or driving or anchoring or anything. I mean, the problem is we normally look at the shortcomings of people and the good points get blurred. But we have to change our mindset. Rather than looking at what is wrong, let's look at what is good. Catch people doing something good. Third step, applaud, appreciate abundantly. If somebody's dress is nice, don't hesitate saying, you're looking very nice. This is really suiting you. This color is really looking good on you. Appreciation plays such a big role in our life. According to Eric Berne, we require 50 to 60 strokes, positive strokes in a day to stay healthy, happy, cheerful. We don't share and we don't do that. We don't like to appreciate. We think if I appreciate, that person will become bigger and I'll become smaller. No. Appreciation is when you tell a person you're good at it and it's really very nice. And that completely changes the person's, inner chemistry. You all know more than me, I think. The set of hormones you release in your body, they look after your mental health, physical health, immunity, resistance to, disease. So third step is applaud. But when you applaud, it has to be done with the positive intention and for the right reason, not fake applaud. Anybody will get to know that you're just faking. And step 4, in case if there is something that you need to talk to about, with this person, it can be a difference of opinion. It could be something that the person is not doing right. Please always, 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 always speak one-on-one. Never do it publicly. Never talk about their shortcoming or their weakness or their ill behavior or misdone publicly. Nobody likes to be insulted and humiliated in public. Be it your students, be it your cleaning staff, be it your junior staff, be it maid at home, be it your own kids, be it your spouse at home. If there's an issue, tell them I need to talk. Signpost it. Sit and talk. Tell your point of view. Listen to their point of view. Give your input. And use these 4 steps. You can change any relationship. Even people with whom you don't get along well, they will also start feeling positive vibes coming from you. And all this has to be genuine. And the beauty of it is when you practice this, you become, a better human being. More than anything else. If you are complimenting people, they are going to compliment you in return. So how beautiful the world will be around you. And then you see the, world changing around you. I don't care for the whole world. Your immediate world is your college and at home, your family. To start with. If you can change that, you will see the energy changing in your workplace. Be kind to each other, be compassionate, caring. Even if you have to go an extra mile to accommodate somebody, help somebody, do it, you will get back. Don't worry. we'll get back. So I can see some comments. नहीं, बुक पढ़नी पड़ेगी. पढ़ने से बहुत मैंने तो सिर्फ 4 पॉइंट्स में आपको सारी बात बता दी. बट इट्स अ वेरी स्मॉल बुक, 70-80 पेजेस बुक. 2-3 घंटे में आप पढ़ के खत्म कर दोगे. मेडिसिन वालों को तो वैसे ही पढ़ना बहुत आता है. दे आर वेरी गुड एट इट. आई सी माई हस्बैंड ऑलवेज रीडिंग. कुछ ना कुछ पढ़ रहे होते हैं फोन के ऊपर. सो आई नो दे आर वेरी फॉन्ड ऑफ रीडिंग. क्योंकि मैंने इसमें जो भी बोला है वो बहुत ही उसमें बोला है, जिस्ट में बताया आपको, सो दैट यू डोंट गो without the understanding. Or I'll share the book with you. So I know we have passed 15 minutes, 4 o'clock, but we have had good discussion. I liked the way you are all asking questions. Any last minute questions if you have, I'm ready to take. Please share a list of books which we should study. So of course this book I said about 1 Minute Manager. I'll share it right away. The other book that I said, Atomic Habits by James Clear. I think I have a soft copy of it. I'll share that also in the book. Please read that. It's a beautiful book on changing yourself, transforming yourself. These are very nice books. There are a couple of books written by Atul Gawande, who is he's an onco-surgeon, I think. He's an onco-surgeon. And he has written books on, about patient handling and how we sometimes feel, because ultimately all of you are going to be working with patients, and that's a very important area of your work. So once you will start practicing good skills with your team, I'm sure that will get reflected in your, handling of your patients also. And that's one area which requires a lot of input, because we are still dealing with them from old school of thought. Patients have changed. We are still there. We are refusing to change. And that's where we are hearing a lot of criticism for our, profession. We really need to work in that area. So Atul Gawande has written a couple of very beautiful books. One book is called Complications. So very honestly, people have admitted the errors they make in, in patient handling, and how that, costs us a life. Okay, Dr. Raman has asked a question. Can we use aggression or assertion for blockers? I would say use assertion, firm assertion. Assertion most of the times will work. At least it will make the ground ready for your next action. Firm assertion with a lot of clarity. Talk to that person, create accountability, create backup plan, go with the idea if this person does not change, who will help, who will substitute, because there will be people who will not be ready to change. So blockers can also be confronted, but again in an assertive manner, and giving them a chance to either work or.
Ma'am, my question.
Ji.
Actually, these things like transforming is possible, but in my view, main barrier is power. When people get as much more power, they become more egoistic and more. So, in my view, main barrier is that power, dignity, and that is only.
So, Dr. Pankaj, there's a very beautiful concept given by Stephen Covey. I'm thankful to you for asking this question, because that's a new thing I want to, talk about, and that will help you greatly. It has helped me immensely, so I'm sure it will help all of you. So Stephen Covey has given a very beautiful concept, and that in that activity he says, make a list of everything that bothers you. Like, for example, you are saying people who are in power, they experience more ego, and they kind of interfere with the system, and they dominate. if I understand you correctly. So all this is very true. So there can be 110 things. Write down all these things, on a piece of paper. This is what bothers me. This is what bothers me. This is what bothers me. Okay. And then draw 2 circles. One bigger circle, one smaller circle. You can draw simultaneously. List you can make later on, but you can draw 2 circles. Bigger circle, on this side you can write, or in the inside you can write circle of concern. And in the smaller circle, you can write circle of influence. Okay? Now pick everything from the list. जो भी चीज आपको bother कर रही है या जिस चीज को लेकर आप concern है, and ask yourself, is there anything I can do about it? That concern is true. I don't doubt your list. I trust your list. Pick everything and ask yourself, can I do anything about this? If the answer is yes, it will go to circle of influence. If the answer is no, it will go to circle of concern. Okay? And after you have prepared to list, very mindfully focus on circle of influence. 3 things over which you don't have any control, even if they are right. And you will have to purposefully overlook them if you want to grow in life. Past, people's behavior, and situations. These 3 things you don't have any control. Whatever has happened in past has happened. You can't do anything. People behavior. How do people behave? You have no control over it. How much ever true it is. I don't have any key that I can hand over to you. Try this key, you can change the mind. I'm sorry. And third is situations. What is going to come? Who knew COVID-19 will come like this? And we'll be talking to each other on Zoom like this. Very mindfully, please focus on circle of influence. You have full control on the way you think, the way you feel, the actions you take. It is raining outside. Can I do anything? But I have to go outside. It's very urgent. Can I do anything?
Take an umbrella.
I can take an umbrella. I can be a raincoat. I can even go drenching myself. It's very important. It is very important. So that's the choice I can make. So I completely agree with you, sir. We have challenges like this. People are not the way we want. People don't behave the way we want. पर smartness तो यही है कि उनसे बचकर निकलते हुए हम कैसे निकल सकते हैं और फिर भी हमारा फोकस अपनी ग्रोथ पर है या अपनी लाइफ के ऊपर है. You will find people cribbing about society, about patients, about government, about organizations. All that may be very, very true. Very, very true. I'm not saying गलत है. पर आप घंटों बातें कर लो, हफ्ते बातें कर लो, राउंड टेबल कॉन्फ्रेंसेस कर लो, डिबेट्स कर लो, कुछ नहीं बदलने वाला. मुझे उसमें कैसे करना है, ये रास्ता आपको अपने लिए स्वयं निकालना है. So my message to you will be, it's your life. It's your journey. It's you who will decide what you want to do, what you want to be, where you want to be. ताकि दुनिया तो ऐसे ही चलेगी, ऐसे चल रही है. You think that helps? स्टीफन कवी की बहुत अच्छी बुक है, यू ऑल मस्ट रीड. अगर 1 मिनट बुक पढ़ने की आदत नहीं भी है, अगर टाइम नहीं मिलता, जो मेरे साथ भी बहुत बारी होता है, आई वुड एडवाइज यू टू लिसन टू टेड टॉक्स. And these books are also available as a gist on YouTube. There are people who have created short videos on each book as a gist. I would say जो स्टीफन कवी की बुक मैं कह रही हूँ 7 Habits of Effective People, it's a beautiful book. इसका उन्होंने पूरा एक 2-3 आवर्स का पूरा वो बनाकर डाला हुआ, इट्स फ्रीली अवेलेबल ऑन यूट्यूब. थोड़ा यूट्यूब है या गूगल सर्च करोगे मिल जाएगा. थोड़ा सा explanation and a short video. थोड़ा सा explanation and a short video. So all 7 habits have been explained very beautifully. I literally spent 4-5 days, reading each habit, and I made my notes from that. What is my learning? I reflected on it, and I'm using a lot of it in my life. Especially this concept of circle of concern and circle of influence. The moment a situation comes, to me, I immediately ask myself, can I do anything about it? If I feel yes, I work towards it. If not, I say, okay, let me focus my energy on something that I can do. And job becomes easy when you are able to segregate right in the beginning. I hope that helps you. Let me take a picture for all of you. You're all smiling and looking so good. So be in your best form. Thank you. So I'm taking a picture. Ready? Thank you so much. Thank you. Everybody's smiling. Everybody's smiling. So I thought, let me capture the moment. Let me capture the moment. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any other question? Anything that you wish to ask or say?
When are you coming to India?
Good question. Yeah,
Actually, soon.
I know, very soon. In the second week of July, I should be in India.
Ma'am,
So
I want to say,
yes, ma'am.
ma'am, as it is said that life is not black and white, it is gray. So people are also not black and white, they are gray. We are all in some shades of gray. All your sessions have helped us to have a better understanding of ourselves. We have now a better insight so that we can apply it in future for our growth. And also all your sessions, they have helped us to make better association with other people, with our students, so that we can grow ourselves and also lead the growth of the institution or other people as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Renu, to have given such a beautifully worded feedback. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Ma'am, one more thing, ma'am. See, AIIMS is being considered as an institute of national importance. So there are many people, who the lakhs of people who are basically depending on us or for our treatment or for any other purposes. So a big thanks to you for enlightening us, ma'am, and a bigger thanks to our director, sir, who thought he, because our journey is going to be, for the next 30 years, we are supposed to be here if we get through our interview. So, or somewhere else. So ultimately, he thinks this part of our, our life or our profile needs, needs to be taken care of. Otherwise, we prefer to go for academics only. We excel in academics, but there are some things which needs, special considerations to have a very happy and healthy life, both professional and social life.
Absolutely.
So it's a bigger thanks and thumbs up to directors also.
Absolutely, he's a visionary.
This section of
your director is a visionary.
Our, education should be taken care of. So
I think we should have requested him to be here if he could join us for 5 minutes. Would have been really fun. So can we request? Is he there?
Ma'am, I think I'll try once.
Yeah, please ask him to join before we close the session. We can, at least have him here on the, Yeah, I completely agree with you, Dr. Raman. I think this is one area which not many people value and pay much attention to, and especially when it comes to growth, it is taken as your personal responsibility. But I think he has laid a wonderful foundation by creating this, platform where you all are now opening up. I can see, and I received such a positive feedback from Uditi also, when she said that now I can see people changing and, being more open, being more considerate, being more honest with each other. That's such a beautiful change. If I could do this, so can you do. It's just that I'm trying to pass the candle to you and asking you to just light your path and others' path. And you have such a huge responsibility. The doctors who are going to be trained under you, if you can really give them this vision, this passion, this quality, I think your job as a teacher is done. Your job as a teacher is done. And patients who are going to come to you for their, treatment, just imagine how happy, satisfied they are going to be. I mean, we haven't touched that part at all, communication with patients and their family member, although that's completely a different program I do for healthcare professionals. I'm doing a master trainer program where I'm, helping people acquire skills to deal with the patients, because that's one raw area. So I always say, जो लोग healthcare में काम करते हैं, उन्हें मंदिर, मस्जिद, गुरुद्वारे, चर्च कहीं जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, बिकॉज ये कर्म भूमि है. अगर आज आपके पेशेंट सेटिस्फाइड जाते हैं, व्हाट डू यू थिंक दे विल गिव यू? ब्लेसिंग्स. जिसके लिए हम मंदिर, मस्जिद, गुरुद्वारे जाते हैं, वो आपको यहाँ बैठकर, घर बैठकर मिलता है, प्रोवाइडेड वी नो the importance of the responsibility that we are holding. Everybody who comes suffering, they're looking for somebody, listen to me, help me, provide me care, give me what I require. And I think that's the beauty of this profession. If you can keep the professional, position, place, absolute torch.
I'm extremely sorry, but sir is currently unavailable.
That's all right. That's perfectly all right. Please convey my sincere regards to him and thanks to him to have given me this opportunity to connect with all of you. I mean, it's been a wonderful journey for me as well. And I'm so thankful to all of you to have all, spared your time and participated so actively, so seriously, and to have taken this program very seriously. And it's been equally enriching and enlightening, for me to have interacted with so many of you in such a beautiful manner. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless you all. So shall I close the session?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. God bless you. So hopefully when I come to India, I think I'll be coming to AIIMS. I'll have to come because I know that's what is the plan. So hopefully maybe 1 or 2 sessions we'll plan there. In the
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And we want more.
Sure.